everyone. Thank you for coming to hear my speech. I'm Jonathan Sappington, and my topic tonight that I'm talking about is college, the next battlefield for veterans. And I'll start off by saying, among the approximately 800,000 military veterans now attending U.S. colleges, an estimated 88% drop out of school during their first year, and only 3% graduate, according to a report forwarded by the University of Colorado, Denver. This information comes from Phil Briggs from U.S. News on NBCNews.com. And if you're thinking it, yes, 3%, that's all that graduates, that is absurd. Just to put this into perspective, how small of a percentage that is, the Registrar's Office at Mississippi State reports that 61.36% of all the students at Mississippi State graduate. So my speech tonight is aimed to convey to all of you the problems that student veterans face. They have unique problems that are just for them, and traditional college students may not go through these. I can relate to this because I was a veteran. I was in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years, and I'm now a student at Mississippi State University. Some of the groups of problems that veterans will face while they're in college are mental problems, social problems, and financial problems. And so, as far as social problems go, this is probably going to be common for veterans because while they're in the military, they kind of grow up with the same group of people. So the people they enter in with are the same people they're with 4 years later. So they develop this closeness, this support system over these 4 years. And as soon as they transition from the military into college, this support system has been removed. Now, one such person who's had this kind of problem is my friend Michael Haddon. I've recently had the opportunity to interview him over the phone, and I asked him, what's been your most difficult part of the transition from the military into college life? And these are his exact words that he said to me. He said, dealing with other students. It's a different type of mindset. I already have so much life experience. I feel like students that are non-veterans don't have that. They have no work ethic. It's distracting because they're texting, or they're distracting me because they're interrupting the class because they're coming in late. I want to help fix them, but it's not my place anymore. They aren't my problem. And that's weird because in the Marines, everybody is everybody else's problem. I want to fix them, but it's not my place anymore. And there they are, interrupting my class time when I'm trying to learn. And this problem is not unique just to Haddon. It's common among veterans because they've had different life experiences. A lot of times when veterans get into college, they're much older than the students that just go straight into college. So while regular traditional college students may value having a good time, making the most of their college experience, veterans know, I've worked for this GI Bill, I've got a finite supply of this money, and I need to get the best bang for my buck. I need to get the job done. So another social problem that they have is just finding a social outlet for other people that are similar to them, that can relate to them. Thankfully, at like Mississippi State, we have the Center for America's Veterans as well as the Student Veterans Association. The second grouping of problems that veterans may face in their transition to university life are mental problems. And many of these mental problems may have been incurred before they even get into college. So, for example, PTSD. I'm sure everybody's heard of it in here. It's post-traumatic stress disorder. It's not uncommon, especially among veterans. According to Kevin Frecking of the Associated Press on USA Today's website, of the 2.6 million service members deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, it's estimated that 13% to 20% have symptoms of PTSD. Now, these symptoms include reliving the event, hypervigilance, avoiding the problem, anything that makes them think of the event, or just emotional problems due to the numbness associated with PTSD. And all of this information comes courtesy of the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. Another mental concern that veterans may have is TBI, traumatic brain injury. This can result from just any blow to the head, any kind of trauma that the brain experiences. This is pretty common nowadays because of improvised explosive devices. And these the traumatic brain injuries may affect your thinking, your basic sensory processing, communication, understanding, and emotions. And as far as emotions go, it can cause depression, anxiety, aggressiveness, and just overall social inappropriateness. All this information comes from the CDC's website on traumatic brain injury, but just from TBIM, PTSD, you can see how difficult it would be for a student veteran to succeed in college life. A third group of problems are financial problems. And you may think that, hey, all these soldiers, all these Marines, sailors, whatever, they have the GI Bill, so they should be fine. They're supposed to have all their college paid for. Well, the truth of the matter is, you go from making, say if you're a corporal, about $1,600 a month plus housing and food allowances to, say for example in Starkville, Mississippi, you only make $933 a month. And you have to pay for your housing and your food. On top of all of that, you also don't get money when school's not in session. So you keep having bills, but you don't have that money flow. Another problem is just the bureaucracies between the colleges and the Veterans Affairs. Your money can get tied up. So you qualify for the Pell Grant as well as scholarships, but the colleges will take their money first, and you've got to wait on the Department of Veterans Affairs. So if somebody's not prepared financially, they're going to have these problems. So, in closing, veterans are a unique group of students with a unique set of problems. They may be affected by social problems, mental problems, financial problems, or a combination of all of these. And so, because of these problems we've talked about today, it's easy to see why college is the next battlefield for veterans. And it's also easy to see why only 3% are expected to graduate. So, this is my works cited, and that's the end of the speech.
Nailed it. Very good, very good.